What's good? It's your boy Merv. Thank you guys for watching the Black and Gold Hour show, a show where we talk about your New Orleans Saints. And in today's episode, sorry y'all, my voice is a little bit hoarse, but it's just because I was in the Superdome for the Saints' unfortunate 33-28 loss to the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions are a great team. There's no, shame in the New Orleans Saints losing to the Detroit Lions. But at this point in the season, the New Orleans Saints are 5-7 and now in third place in the NFC South. The NFC South, the worst division in football. And in today's episode, I know everybody has kind of touched on what we talked about in Who Dat Nation, the Saints losing, Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston. We've heard it over and over again, and I love watching Saints Nation and Who Dat Nation talk, and ESPN even talked about it during the game. And it was just so many different talking heads, and I just love, kind of hearing the discourse amongst fans including myself. But being in the building for the Saints loss against the Detroit Lions, I have a question. And I kind of have a thought that came to my mind this morning after I let the loss kind of sink in and after I'm reevaluating it. Were Saints fans really booing Derek Carr? And I know. Let me get it out first. Let me explain it first before you guys, jump all over me. But were Saints fans really booing Derek Carr? Now, I myself and my dad, we were in the building for the game, and we were one of them people booing. That's why my voice is hoarse. It wasn't necessarily from cheering until the third and fourth quarter. But I have to ask the question, and I seen Ms. Benson on the Jumbotron. She was in the building. Mickey Loomis is always in the booth watching the game. We have Dennis Allen and we have Pete Carmichael on the sidelines, but it seems like most of the boos were when Derek Carr came on and off the field. And granted, Derek Carr's performance has been horrible. Players are calling it out. I just watched a post-game interview with Chris Olave. He was asked the question, does he believe the boos are warranted? He just laughed. Because the New Orleans Saints know what they're dealing with on the field. Yes, they could play better as a team. Derek Carr doesn't play defense. But at the same time, Derek Carr is the leader of the team. And it has been disarray all season. And that's just an illustration of what's happening in coaching. But the most important thing, management. And I've been a Saints fan since I was 11 years old. I remember when I became a Saints fan. I remember getting a haircut and Reggie Bush being drafted and me running around the house and just, I feel like I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I want to learn the game of football. So we would watch football together. That was me at 11 years old. And by about week 8 of the regular season, I understood the game. I understood what the line of scrimmage was. I understood what a first down was. I understood what the different roles were. And I still consider myself a student of the game because I'm 28. Now, the fact that I'm 28 means that I'm one of those young New Orleans Saints fans. Don't jump on me. Don't beat me up. I'm 28 years old, so I've seen mostly only Drew Brees and Sean Payton. And with Drew Brees and Sean Payton, there was a level of elite play and elite coaching that you just can't pass up on. You just can't overlook. Drew Brees was doing things with abysmal Saints defenses. Sean Payton was doing things with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, Taysom Hill at quarterback, Luke McCown. That was one of my favorite games when he played against the Carolina Panthers. Man, I just knew that Sean Payton was an excellent coach on that day. Man, he had McCown looking like a good quarterback and not just any old regular backup in the NFL. But the thing that has remained consistent is management's stubbornness. As a Saints fan, doesn't it always feel like other teams do as much as they can to win? When you think about the Eagles, when we think about the 49ers, who we've seen be elite over the last forever as an organization, I guess, have it always seemed like they do as much as they can. They go get the free agents. They go do as much as they can. They get rid of coaches after not showing results. They get rid of players that are not showing results. They're willing to make changes. They're willing to admit their faults and correct the ship. I'm tired of seeing New Orleans be stubborn. And at this point, they are being stubborn. And I'm not talking about Dennis Allen. I'm not talking about Pete Carmichael. I'm talking about all the way to the top. All the way to the top. Ms. Benson, you got to get rid of Mickey Loomis. It's time to go. It's time to make changes. And honestly, Derek Carr's being booed, and his play is warranted that. But I think his boos is more of a reflection of how Saints fans have been feeling, not just over the last 2 years, but even when Drew Brees and Sean Payton were here. It always felt like the New Orleans Saints didn't do all they could to win. They didn't do all they could to see this team get over the hump. It always felt like they rested on what they had and they were overconfident, or they were just fine in mediocrity. Even when Drew Brees was here. It's just that Drew Brees' elite play covered it up. And I feel like Saints fans were booing Derek Carr to tell management to get him off the field, tell management to get Dennis Allen out the building, to tell management to get Pete Carmichael out the building, and honestly, at this point, to get Mickey Loomis out the building. I'm in the crowd. Nobody's talking about the team as a whole. The team is so talented. The team is, man, it hurts me because I'm a Saints fan. I remember being in middle school, growing up in Virginia, and people asking me, hey, why are you a Saints fan? And me explaining it every single time with the most confidence and telling them my family background and telling them how I spent summers in New Orleans and I love this team to death. And I still love this team. Like, I love the Saints. Only reason I care about other teams is because eventually they'll match up with the Saints. I bleed black and gold, and it really hurt. And my voice is still hoarse because I'm booing Derek Carr just like the other, but 25, 30, 35,000 Saints fans. Detroit Lions fans were looking at us kind of shocked because they didn't know that the Saints fans were just so passionate and angry about their current situation. And I think Derek Carr is the victim of bad years of management. And I think Saints fans, unfortunately, he gets the brunt of it because he's the quarterback and he hasn't been playing well, and he threw a pick 6 in Atlanta and he's holding on to the ball too long. Yes, he's doing horrible things, but I think as a Saints fan, he is, like, just looking back on it, I think that he's actually getting kind of the treatment of fans who are disgruntled with management. They're disgruntled. They're angry. And the New Orleans Saints are 5-7. They're in third place in the NFC South. And the only thing they can hope on is a miracle at this point. And the miracle being that Dennis Allen gets fired and Pete Carmichael gets fired. But even for those Saints fans who are still hoping on the playoffs, and I'm such a black and gold fan that I still want the Saints to win. I'm never into the losing out. I'm never into the high draft pick. I'm never into that. But the New Orleans Saints have a lot of work to do, and they won't be able to do it. They won't be able to win any games or anything significant with Derek Carr at quarterback as of this season. Now, if we change coaches, we can see what Derek Carr can do. We're looking at Derek Carr. Look what he's doing. We saw what Matt Stafford did at one point with a change in scenery and coach. So I'm not saying that Derek Carr isn't the biggest issue. He is a top one, but he's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue in New Orleans is management. Not Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael. Mickey Loomis is the biggest issue in New Orleans, and he's riding high on the success of Drew Brees and Sean Payton. And although Derek Carr is playing bad, he's getting the treatment of how Saints fans really feel about Mickey Loomis over the years of the Saints being unable and seeming willing to be mediocre. So that's how I feel as a Saints fan right now. Playoffs, I mean, hey, we probably end up playing Dallas in the Superdome. That would be lit. I would love to see that. I was just talking about it on the way to the game and to the Superdome yesterday. And that would be lit. That would be nice. That would be incredible. But anything that'll keep Dennis Allen, I can't have. Anything that'll keep Mickey Loomis, I need the resume for both Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen to show nothing but ineptitude and mediocre. so that Miss Benson can have the conversations that she needs to have. She needs to be in some of them meetings this week. She needs to be on Zoom, having those conversations. But that's just my rant as a passionate young New Orleans Saints fans. I was talking to some of the older Saints fans this weekend, and they were telling me, man, you have no idea. If you think this is horrible, you have no idea. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I can't change my age, but I definitely know what I see on the field, and this ain't a good look. So, the New Orleans Saints need a miracle right now, and we're just going to keep hoping on that. But unfortunately, Derek Carr is getting the brunt of the New Orleans Saints fans' blues. So we're going to hope that they get better. We're going to hope that things turn around. That was just my quick rant. I just want to give y'all a quick thought that came to my head today. I kind of been thinking about it all day. And I don't know, maybe Saints fans weren't booing Derek Carr after all, but they're just tired of management. Thank you guys for watching. Before I go, we've been talking about miracles, and we've been talking about things and challenges that the New Orleans Saints have, but we personally all have challenges in our life. We all have challenges that we go through daily. The holiday season is coming up, and there's so many. This is the time of year where we get reflective. This is the time of year where we sit and think about the challenges that we overcame, and the ones that might come, or the ones that that we're looking to overcome as we get into the new year and as we go through 2024, and we have goals and so many things that we want to accomplish, just all good things. But what I want to say is sometimes we look at those challenges and, we're just looking at it with our strength. We're just looking at it in our might. Can we do this? Can I do this? Am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to be able to do this? When am I going to be able to do this? And I think sometimes that's what makes us feel inferior. That's what makes us feel discouraged, because we don't have all the answers. We don't have all the power. We don't have all the knowledge. We don't have all the resources to be able to do all the things that we want to do. But there is somebody who does, and that's God. So instead of looking at your problems and putting yourself up against the problems, put God up against the problems. There's verses in Psalm 86, verses 8 through 10 that I want to read to you guys. And I underline these verses because I read these almost anytime that I'm thinking about a problem and I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? As soon as I say, how am I going to do this? I go to this verse. So I want to read it for you guys. And this is Psalm 86, 8 through 10. My Lord, there is no one like you among the gods. There is nothing that can compare to your works. All the nations that you've made will come and bow down before you, Lord. They will glorify your name. Because you are awesome and a wonder worker, you are God. Just you. It's not about me. This verse says nothing about me or us or what we can do as humans, but it talks about the greatness of God. So the next time you think about your problems, put them in your mind. Not you versus the problems, but you and God versus the problems. And I bet you'll feel a lot better. It'll help you breathe a sigh of relief, and eventually the breakthrough will come. But thank you guys for watching the Black and Gold Hour show. I'm going to go rest my voice. I'm going to go watch some Monday Night Football. But thank you guys for watching. Peace.